foolery puts victims at risk. The system does not work for a reason. It's set up so that nobody is responsible for anything. It's set up so that poor victims who have to go in alone can't show evidence, not even the evidence that is supposed to be recorded. Because when you were victimized at a hospital, you have to fight tooth and nail for the evidence that shows that you were abused. You have to fight tooth and nail for the camera evidence from the hospital. And they can do the same thing the cops do, just claim that's all there is, or they don't have any, or it wasn't recorded, and not their fault. Like that officer who claimed that his body camera lit on fire and lit his uniform on fire, and then later on they found out that his stuff all had traces of lighter fluid all over it. Well, yeah, that might do it. Pouring lighter fluid on that shit would probably make it more flammable. Wouldn't you think? Anyway, my phone's about to die. I needed to find the charger and plug it in, and I didn't get to it. I was bringing up people being liberal but being assholes because the video I recorded in Starbucks, there was 2 old ladies and 2 old men sitting there having a conversation. Well, those 2 old men came out to sit in their vehicle and smoke whatever it is they were smoking. And they went out to the vehicle, and when they got out of the vehicle, they wanted to talk about my shitty vehicle, complain that my tags were expired. Well, I've also got a thing in the back window. It's called a trip permit. It's good for 21 days. So my vehicle's legal. Also, I don't have to remove my plates for a trip permit. But it seemed to me they were awfully goddamn offended by it. You're awfully goddamn offended that people are broke, that they can't afford the nicest stuff. You're pissed off that somebody who's broke has a temporary thing in the back window because their disability money ain't enough to live on for a month. Let alone if you got a fucking vehicle and you got people expecting you to go places. And then there's the fact that you have to be afraid to accept help because it'll be held against you financially. Oh, it says here that people gave you $2,000. Well, obviously, with $2,000, you don't need disability, so we're going to take it away from you. You know how many times shit like that actually does happen? Frequently and often. Fucking A. I cannot find my charger, so it is very likely that my phone is going to die here very shortly. Oh, god damn it. This shit is not easy with a busted foot. People don't bother to find out why it is that you're in the situation they're in. They want to judge you for being in it. Those guys wanted to be judgmental assholes. Now, did I get it recorded live on YouTube? No. But I did get it recorded on my clandestine recording device because they wanted to be pretty loud about it while walking by. Why are they so liberal about being asswipes? That is a good question. Does it have something to do with the way that they were raised? You always want to tell us about how the generations before us were so much better. No, they weren't. You were shitty kids too. Yeah, our parents went out and got drunk underage or did drugs. Yeah, our parents did things that their parents didn't want them to do. A lot of times, Mom ain't gonna go over to Grandma's with you because she doesn't want Grandma telling you what a hellion she was growing up. Because that kind of then validates your experiences that you have, right? Like you're a 16-year-old girl, you think you should be allowed to have sex with whoever you want. Well, your mom thought that too. That's why you exist. Grandma thought differently. Now you want to say, oh, well, my mom this, my mom that. More mature than my mom because my mom got pregnant at 16. I'm more mature than my mom because I'm almost 17 and I haven't gotten pregnant. Grandma told me what mom was like growing up. Well, see, that's the thing about mom being a hypocrite, huh? You're going to throw that in your mom's face, that your mom's being a hypocrite. Your mom was having sex at 16. Your mom wants to throw it in your face that, yeah, and she got pregnant when she was 16. And then you're going to throw it in your mom's face that that's because mom was stupid and didn't use a fucking condom. You guys know how family arguments go. And the best advice is to stay out of it, right? What happens when that situation gets so heavy that it results in somebody dying? And now you're being held accountable and responsible because you knew something and didn't say nothing. And then, of course, when somebody's killed, folks want to blame anybody who ever had a piddly-ass argument with that person ever. Oh, you had an argument. Well, we're going to try to peg it on you. Oh, wait, there's a homeless person that we can try blaming it on. We'll try blaming it on them first. In America, you got a whole bunch of poor people who want to pass judgment on other poor people for being poor. We got a bunch of people on disability who want to complain about other people on disability for being disabled. Damn, that's fucked up, ain't it? We got people out here on the streets who never had the benefit of getting disability money because they didn't have any help getting it. It's not because they're not qualified. They didn't have any help. They had to do it alone. That's especially detrimental to males because males are more likely to be physically incapable of working than females. Males are more likely to have the jobs doing the heavy lifting. Men also, on average, work a lot more hours in a year. 7 more hours of overtime per week. More than women. See, when we talk about how women get paid on average $44,000 a year and men get paid on average almost $49,000 a year. Well, they're working a lot of overtime. When you're making almost $100,000 a year and you're pissed off about a discrepancy of $1,000, you think that you should be getting paid equal and across the board when your pay raises and pay grades are based off of your performance. And it's only off by $1,000 from the next guy. Over the course of an entire year, you get paid $96,500. He gets $97,500. You're both getting paid more than the average, a lot more than the average, nearly double. No? No, you're both getting paid over double the average, ain't you? Men right at about average, right? And women over double. Like that police officer lady here wanted to claim that she was discriminated against because of her gender because she got paid $1,000 less than a male officer. Well, how's her performance? She's a police officer, so her performance is probably not that great. Kind of makes you wonder, though, how many of those male officers did she help to get away with crimes that they committed against the homeless before she wanted to whine about $1,000 difference? She gets paid 10 times what I do in a year. And she wants to sue these guys for a lot of money over $1,000 difference. Huh. The actions of the officers here have cost me well over $1,000. The decisions of her former co-workers, because she quit. She don't work here no more. Police are used to, they say something and it must be true. There's too much ear lended to the validity of their statements due to their position. If you have that position, it should be recorded at all points in time. With a public pretender should be recorded at all points in time with their client, so that it's not their word versus their client. When somebody is an at-risk adult, it has to be recorded for their safety because everyone in the country knows they can call them mentally ill, make it your word versus theirs, and theirs is automatically discredited because you called them mentally ill. This is why we have laws that are supposed to protect people who are disabled from exactly that predatory action, because those predatory actions are so common and prevalent. But then you don't want to observe it, do you? These officers didn't have to observe the law. They got to break the law over and over again. My predators and the Bollinger family and their extended family and their friends got away with it too, because every time that I had to try to turn in a crime, I had to try to turn it in by myself. Anyway, I gotta head back over to the McDonald's, spend some more money over there. Yeah, that's really how it is. When there's something that people complain about, I gotta try to make sure that I don't do that thing. When I came outside earlier to help that gentleman who fell over, it's another thing entirely to have to come out here and make a phone call with Adult Protective Services alone from inside of my vehicle while I have to leave my evidence inside. So I can't even tell her what's going on because I need to have my computer in front of me, and she can't hear me because people are talking. Like those two guys who are insulted by my vehicle. Just because it exists. I've had people walk by and say, man, you know, I can't believe he's got all that money for that kayak. Shit, I didn't pay nothing for the kayak. The kayak was a free gift, and I don't have the physical strength to get it off the top of my vehicle. If I had had to spend money on it, no, I wouldn't have it. It was a gift. And it's a gift that I am grateful for and thankful for. I did message the lady who's trying to be my advocate right now. I really do like her. There's a few of these folks that I really do like. Some of them screwed up so big, though. So big. And that I didn't like. And rather than admit it and try to do something to remedy the situation, they want me to pretend that it never happened in exchange for them making another empty promise. No, we don't get to redraw the lines. Every time that you fuck up, I'm supposed to forgive you. No, enough of this. Enough of this. Especially when you're going to hold a grudge against me for telling the truth. You didn't want to hear what the consequences were or why those consequences were there. See, there's this stuff that therapists tell you that's just completely stupid and doesn't work. Like, when you're being victimized, you're supposed to go to the person who makes you feel bad and tell them that it makes you feel bad. And all these people are going to do is go out of their way to try to make you feel like you're a bad person for asking for help. That you should be ashamed of yourself for asking for help. Meanwhile, what am I told to do? I'm told to ask for help. I go to all the places that I'm told are supposed to help, and they don't help. Not without a friend or family member going in with you. For a lot of these predators, I have to literally ask these predators for the evidence of the crimes they committed against me. I have to go and ask them for transcripts of this or copies of that, and then they want a bunch of money I don't have to get those things. Oh, I'm sorry, broke person who doesn't have the money to take care of themselves, because we're constantly making them march through hoops, and expensive ones at that, long and drawn out. Oh, you just need to be patient. You just need to be patient. If I try to turn in crimes against me, I'm blown off. If I do it, how is it treated? Oh, that's right. They'll do something about it if I do it back. If I do it back, I'm evil, right? I can't do that shit back to those people. Are you fucking kidding me? I can barely bring myself to threaten that shit. I have to fucking psych myself up for days to be able to say that shit. And I don't want to psych myself up for nothing. I just want to go hang out with my friends and family, enjoy their company, have conversations like human beings do. Real conversations. I'd like to be able to go do fun things with my friends, but then again, where were they? Where were they when I needed them? Busy telling me what to do, or busy looking the other way? The ones who provided help never came forward about it. It's the fact that they never came forward about it that has resulted in all of this harm. None of these people came forward about those situations. I told the truth about all of those situations before Natalie Bollinger was killed, and the people involved. But I was treated like I made it all up. And then, of course, when I have recordings and evidence posted up all over YouTube and Facebook to show I told the truth, that evidence can get me a new court date. But not when I am constantly running around from place to place, and many of these places and agencies refuse to send anything to me unless I have a physical address. The whole time I was in Hood River, I tried to get a physical address. The whole time I was in the Dalles, I tried to get a physical address. Here in Tillamook, I tried to find somebody who would let me to do that, allow me to do that. With many of these people and places, especially government agencies, for example, Nebraska, the last time that my ID was stolen by a police officer on a routine check, really harassing homeless people for going shopping and claiming that they're loitering when they literally just bought something. Thanks, Steinman. Anyway, when they take your ID and do whatever it is they do with it, at the time, I go all the way back to Nebraska because I didn't have a physical address to use, and I couldn't use the one at the carriage house because lots of other people had used it. They know that it's an outreach service that'll accept your mail and give it to you, but that's not the same thing as living there. So they're able to deny you that service, especially since that place has had hundreds of people try to go through there and do that. A lot of people have really good ideas. And sometimes you get a hold of one of those people who will actually help you out with the things that you need. But most of the time, you're going to get somebody who's been there for 5 or 6 years or longer. At this point in their career, they're only there for a paycheck. They no longer care about the clients. Sure, they might have been idealistic when they got started. Sorry, I'm just wondering what the hell that guy was doing. After 5 or 6 years, though, you realize the system doesn't work. You realize you're afraid to turn in the crimes that are being committed by workers, and you've even committed a few yourself to help them get away with it. You're no longer interested in right or wrong. You're interested in getting your paycheck and getting out of there. You feel dirty and nasty because you're a criminal. You're a crook. You're taking advantage of the most at-risk people in the country, and you are turning down the most at-risk people in the country, resulting in long-term abuse and harm against them with no protections. If the law says it's not okay to defend yourself, like let's say you live in a state where there are no self-defense laws, and somebody pulls out a gun to shoot you with, it's probably not a smart idea to just stand there and let them shoot you, because there's no self-defense law in your state and you don't want to get in trouble. Well, you know what? That's stupid. And that shows how these monsters try to take away your Second Amendment right to kill a motherfucking tyrant. No matter what, my voice and my evidence didn't matter. Not to the courts, not to the police. not to the public. They didn't care. What they cared about is having someone that their bias says it's okay to victimize. That their bias says it's okay for them to blow off. Their treatment towards me is inhumane. Then they get to bring up things that did not happen. But it didn't matter if those things happened or not, did they? Because the police went out of their way to make sure that I couldn't go to court. And my predators got to automatically win because I was illegally prevented from going to court. The way these people have gaslighted me for the last 6 years is inhumane, and anybody who supports this deserves to hang from the gallows. If you believe that this treatment of an innocent human being is acceptable, you deserve to hang from the gallows. Do you like hearing that? Of course you don't. But how many of you scream that pedophiles should all be killed? And then you just accuse anybody that you don't like of being a pedophile. Or anybody who doesn't do what you want. And then you guys want to complain that pedophiles are protected. Oh, well, it's a hate crime to go after a pedophile. That's right. Only if they're registered. If there's somebody who's innocent and gets called the wrong thing just once, that is enough. You get called the wrong thing just once by the right person. That is enough to destroy your entire life. That is enough for a lot of other people to interject themselves into the situation. If Kim Kardashian drove into your vehicle and you tried to turn her in and she claimed that you were stalking her, who do you think would be heard? You know goddamn well that because of who it is, it's going to be on the news. Whose story is the American public going to listen to? Let's say a homeless person is crossing the road and she runs him over. Well, now she doesn't want to get in trouble. If she says, oh, well, this guy had been stalking me. Well, he's just a homeless person. Nobody's going to give two shits. She'll get away with it scot-free. Anybody else would be in prison for fucking manslaughter. But she's famous. And as long as the police refuse to investigate, and nobody bothers with getting any security cameras or any of that, or body cameras, there was officers involved. If it was Kim Kardashian, they'd find a way to release that stuff, wouldn't they? But if she's in an area where it's going to be her word versus somebody else's, do you really think that they're going to investigate her running over a hobo? Or do you think they're just going to go, oh, well, she says this guy was stalking her, so let's dig up everything we can about this man and blast this dead man all over the internet and all over the news and all up in the American public's faces so that everybody in America hates homeless people? Now, obviously, this story is fictionalized. But the problems and policies inherent in it are not. I gotta turn off my recording because I gotta piss like a racehorse. Good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper, or your sister's. And no victim left behind, no matter how popular it is to take your bullshit out on the homeless. You want to talk about how wrong it is to do to black people, but do it to homeless? That shows that you're really a closet racist. You're just pretending that you're not racist. If you could take it out on black people and get away with it, you would. But it's not popular, which is why you take it out on the homeless. That is popular. You don't take it out on the women who destroyed your life, do you? You take it out on a homeless male. That is popular. You don't take it out on the man who beat you. You take it out on the man who helped you out when you asked him for help getting away from the abuse. God bless America, right? Bless her heart.